I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Directors of Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. We'll begin this meeting with a pledge to the flag, and I'd ask my colleague, Matt Kelly, to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director Kelly. This open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14, replay on Saturday, April 25th, 2015 at 1 p.m. and Monday, April 27th, 2015 at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. This open session meeting is also available for viewing on the district's website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. As is customary in these meetings, we'll start this meeting with an opportunity for the public to discuss items on or not on the agenda. And Madam Clerk gave me the special no shaky head thing, so that means that's not happening this evening. We'll move on now to the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I so move.
I have a first and a second relative to the items on the consent agenda. I'd like to make my colleagues aware of the fact that the letter of understanding with the local on the OPEB is included. That's a big deal. So are there any questions relative to those action or consent items? Seeing no questions, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk?
Aye.
Orzali?
Aye.
Scheidegger?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
And Gould?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Our first action item of this evening is item number 1, overtime and portal-to-portal pay for employees assigned to emergency responses. Chief Taylor, you got the show.
Thank you, Director. Mr. President, Board of Directors, Fire Chief, my name is Darren Taylor. I'm the Deputy Chief of Operations for the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. Before you tonight is the staff report regarding overtime and portal-to-portal pay for our employees assigned to emergency responses. The authorization of the overtime and portal-to-portal pay for the employees while away from their official duty stations and assigned to emergency incidences is basically the foundation of the CFFA agreement, which we are part of. And the intent of the CFFA agreement is to make sure that fire districts, local government, and any other entity taking part in the master mutual aid process is fully reimbursed. This year in 2015, CSFA had some revisions, and due to that, it's basically incumbent on the board to approve a resolution which basically states that you as a board will authorize the district to reimburse our employees at a portal-to-portal rate based off of their MOU. Even though we currently have an MOU with Local 522, Cal OES needs us to have a resolution on file with them, including our salary survey. So the CFFA provides reimbursement of overtime and portal-to-portal pay to Metro Fire employees while in the course of their employment are away from their official duty stations and assigned to an emergency incident. In support of emergency incident or pre-position for emergency response, Metro Fire is currently reimbursed for overtime and portal-to-portal rates costs. That's as effective to all last year and in past, that's what we've done. In order to ensure the district is fully reimbursed, Metro Fire's Board of Directors must approve the attached resolution authorizing overtime and portal-to-portal pay for our employees. We've ran the resolution language by Cal OES over the last week, and Cal OES from them have stated that the verbiage of which we put in the resolution was acceptable by them. Staff recommends the approval of the attached resolution authorizing overtime and portal-to-portal pay for our employees. And if you have any questions?
Thank you, Chief. Members of the board, questions for this action item? Director Orzali?
As we're aware, overtime has been a significant issue. So that the public understands, the overtime that's represented here is not part of the Metro Fire General Fund, is that correct?
That is correct.
So while this would appear, if one were to calculate overtime for an individual or group of individuals, it would appear as part of that. It is in fact not part of our general fund.
The way and then I can have Ken Campo come up and help me if I mess this up. Basically, the way it is we pay our employees off of our staffing dollars, which are 1,000 account, which in turn the state of California reimburses us back for those employees, plus the cost of the fill for our fire stations and the apparatus of which they respond on. So we're fully reimbursed.
I see. Okay, it's just an important part that the public have an understanding of this, because overtime has been a point of concern for members in the community and myself. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Chief, thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Okay, we got a
Oh, no,
couple.
no, no.
Let's start down here. Go ahead.
I had a question just on that point, Chief. In reading the document, it didn't cover the backfilling of the personnel, and are you saying that comes from a different fund?
No, sir. We do it the same way. We pay our employees the overtime rate on out of the 1,000 account, and then when our employees or our finance submit to Cal OES for reimbursement, then we get reimbursed not only for the employee and their time out, which is their
Straight time.
time and a half, or straight time, depending on if they're on duty or off duty, including the backfill in the fire station. So it's all part of the reimbursement.
The problem,
An administrative fee on top of that.
Correct. We
For
also have a
processing.
21.88% administrative fee to cover any of the costs that staff here in the building works on for the reimbursement process.
yeah, the problem I have with the document is none of that is spelled out in there, so from a legalese, since it's not in the written contract or in the written language, where do we fall on that?
We fall under the CFFA agreement, which it's all spelled out in the CFFA agreement.
So why would it not be in this document then?
Because this is just a resolution on how to pay our employees while out on an incident, which is by portal to portal. That's how they've always been paid. This year, they're just trying to get it in document, there's, reasons that the state are trying to clean up their language itself. So the reason it states this way, that just authorizes, you are authorizing this organization or the finance division to pay our folks portal to portal, and then if they're out on the incident on times that they are not considered on duty, then they're paid at the overtime rate. That's what
Okay.
you're allowing us to continue to do, which we've done in the past.
And the only other thing I've got on it is, in reading the document, the list of the employees that are available for this overtime compensation and everything, I think the board needs to have a discussion on the level of expertise that we send out of the district on these major events. And in no way am I saying that we shouldn't send qualified people out if it's needed, but in light of overtime and some of the other concerns, if we're sending the only person at that rank or in that position out of the district and paying them overtime, that presents some interesting budgeting issues like we're seeing in the overtime now.
And I'd like to just chime in on that, though. But, we've been in the Master Mutual Aid system, and the state of California has a very robust system since the 1970s. I know, and Chief Taylor and I, and in previous administrations as well, before every fire season, we discuss what the drawdown will be in terms of how many resources we can send out. And that does change. It changes with your staffing level. It changes with, the apparatus availability, your staffing level to staff them, the finances and the politics at the time. But I would say that our role and opportunities to participate in this system, both on the boots on the ground and filling the engines and whatever resources there are, in addition to the incident management teams on the upper level, pay back dividends tenfold to this organization, in my opinion. Individuals will go out, as an example, up to the King Fire. We had at one point over 100 people up there, but a tremendous amount of them were in support positions on incident management teams. And what they do is they represent Metro Fire in a highly professional way, and they learn and collaborate with regional people up and down the state of California, both and federally. And they bring that knowledge and skills and abilities back to the district. And so not only do we get the administrative overhead fee that helps us do the payroll and the processing, and we get paid for the backfill of the employee that's in the fire station now and the person that's in the field, but we get that unquantifiable experience and expertise back to the district. And a great example of that would be the Sacramento Metropolitan Type 3 Incident Management Team. All those individuals are local resources here. The incident manager or the incident commander was Chief Holbrook at one point until now it's Chief Lozano from our agency. Those are all built based on these experiences as you grow up in the ranks, going up and down the state of California on floods, fires, whatever it is. So I would highly recommend from my position that we continue to support whatever we can in this operation. And I know the operations staff is critically watching all those resources as it relates to budget and function.
All right.
Let me finish up on that. I agree with you with the expertise and everything, Chief, but this board needs to look at that and establish a policy as to where we're comfortable from a budget position on sending out people and the overtime rates, et cetera, so.
Yeah, and all I would counter to that is that it's plus 18%
Yeah, it's a,
or 21%, whatever the administration fee is.
21.
yeah, so that's a really good thing to do. Director Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Chief Taylor. Thank you, Chief Wells. I would like the public to recognize that part of this statewide mutual aid is critically important. Metro Fire, our region, can be on the receiving end of this. This is a mutual aid, and part of the sustainability of this is that we continue to support each other. So if, and hopefully, when we are in need of these statewide resources, everyone in this region, our public, Metro Fire, will benefit from our continued contribution. It's just a building and a building and a building. It's critically important for whenever there's a disaster anywhere, including here, local agencies can be assured of assistance and mutual aid to meet the demands of the emergency that occurs.
Director Kelly, I thought I saw your hand up. Did you have a comment?
No, I think it's.
Director Wood, you just joined us. Do you have anything relative to this action item?
No, I do not. Apologize for my tardiness.
That's okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the resolution authorizing overtime and portal-to-portal pay for our employees.
Okay, I have a first and a second on the action item. Any other questions or comments relative to this action? Chief, anything else you'd like to provide us before we make a vote?
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief. Appreciate it. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk,
I'm going to abstain on this.
Orzali,
Aye.
Scheidegger,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
and Gould.
A resounding aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We'll now move on to President's report. I have no report at this time. I'll wait till after we get to the board members' questions and comments. Chief, let's start with you on Chief's report.
Okay, and I'm actually going to change locations here to the other side for a moment.
Thought you might.
Well, good evening, directors, public, and I would like to have Mr. Fred Bino come and join me up here. And Fred, I kind of sprung this on him a little bit ago. So tonight is Fred's last board meeting. Fred is retiring at the end of the month. Fred came to us, he is our fleet manager, and he came to us in June of 2006. And making just about 9 straight years. And the interesting thing about that is done a phenomenal job. Absolutely. We have one of the best, I believe, in the country. It has to be a very, very robust fleet maintenance division that the rolling stock and the quality of the men and women that work in that division and their output is a true testament to Fred. But I will say this, the one thing that's interesting about that is if you do the math in the economy in 2006 to now, those have been 9 tough years. Those have been times where we've been holding things together with baling wire. Not literally. It was it was 100-mile-an-hour duct tape.
Bailing
But in all reality, it's pretty easy to do things when there's lots of money. And when you can go out and buy the things that you need to buy, and you can keep ahead of things on master replacement plans, et cetera. To lead in a time where it is deeply difficult, concessionary budgeting every time, and every budget is trying to get a little more out of each dollar. Fred Bino has been that leader for us in our fleet division. And I just we are going to miss him. We're actually in a recruitment process. He has a very large shoe anyway, but I would say that it's going to be very difficult to fill his shoes. And I just wanted to thank Fred tonight on your profound leadership in our fire department. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Well, this is a little bit different standing here. Usually I'm asking to spend lots of money, and I'm not doing that today. So I just want to thank the board and the district. This has been a wonderful place to work, and I don't know what to say. I mean, everything has been all from admin to all the chiefs. I mean, it's been a good working relationship, and I know we'll continue to do that. And again, I thank the district for having the faith in me, for putting the job in my hands, and it was pretty. It seems fairly easy once I got into it, because the group of individuals that work at the shop with me, they're the ones that do it. They make me look good, because I don't have to think about what they do. They do their jobs, they know what they're doing, and I have to thank everybody in the shop, and that they do it day to day. They keep everything rolling, and during business hours and after hours. And again, I just would like to thank everybody again. I won't be a stranger. I'll still be around, and and like I've told Chief Daniels that he knows my phone number, so, but I have it on, so I know if he's calling, if I want to answer him. That's good. But again, I just want to thank everybody, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful job, and that's about all I have to say. Just thank you, and thanks, Chief Wells, and everybody in the past that has had faith in me through all the administrations. So,
Thank you, Fred.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Hey, Fred, can we embarrass you just a little bit more? Just go right back up there. You know, I think it's important for people to also understand what you've done with your team out there. In addition to just maintaining our rolling stock, I think it's important for the public to understand what you and your team have done for several years now in bringing fire service mechanics from around the world to McClellan Air Force Base, where your shop's located, and really tell us just briefly about your team and what they do in bringing that, because when you leave, we still got to bring those people from all over the world to maintain that reputation. So brag on yourself for just a few minutes.
Well, basically, it's the California Fire Mechanics Academy, and they're their own entity also. We, thanks to the district and the board, to support them, and we support them every year, where we basically close the shop down and we do training. We're from factory training from all the big truck manufacturers, the fire apparatus manufacturers, and this is where students come from all over the country to receive this training in order to get their level 1, 2, 3 fire mechanics certificates, and which is very important. And it's without the district backing this, it wouldn't happen, because they wouldn't have the facility to do it. And this year, they used our whole shop facility from certain days. Some days we had 4 classes going, other days we had 2 or 3, but they were constantly going in our shop, and they wouldn't be able to do it without us, the district. And we support them in any way we can with apparatus, and And they in turn, they in turn help us out too. So it's a win-win for everybody. And we've had so many people from out of state or within our state that we network with now. And if it wasn't for the Fire Academy, we wouldn't even know these people. And it's a real great opportunity for us. And I know Chief Wells is already, we're in, and I'll, more than likely, they've already tried to recruit me to help them out next year. So if Darlene will let me, I might have a day or two there. So, but that's kind of what it is. And it's basically like, without the district, they would have a very, very hard time putting on the academy because of the support the district gives them. So,
Very good.
So,
Congratulations.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
If I could
Go
just,
ahead.
if I could just add, I was recently in a meeting with some folks from over in Lake County, and one of the county officials was talking to me and said, "Oh, you're with Metro Fire. Well, you run that mechanics academy for the fire district." I said, "Yes, I do." And then he told me what a great job I did. And so he just went on at some length about what an extraordinary program we have and how well respected it is around the state. And in this forum, I will never say it again, but I really had nothing to do with it. But thank you so much for your efforts.
So does Lake County think you're our fire chief?
Lake
Me
County,
too.
Lake County thinks I'm the governor.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to gain control again.
said that would be a good thing
This
for
goes
us.
on between these two frequently, if you don't know that already. It's our constant comedy show. Chief,
Okay.
is there anything else you'd
Well,
like
I
to
got
share with us tonight?
two more items from over here, then I'm going to go back to the comfy chair.
Great.
I also wanted to recognize tonight, Assistant Chief Scott Clough has announced that he was going to be retiring at the end of the month. He is not here this evening, he had other commitments, but I wanted to say publicly that Chief Clough has done a tremendous job for this organization. He's worked here many, many years, came to us from Southern California, started in the early 90s with the Sacramento County Fire, came into Metro Fire in the merger. Notably, Chief Clough has gone up and down the state of California to allow us to increase opportunities and efficiencies in the way that we are reimbursed medically, both Medicare, Medi-Cal, GEMT, which is the Ground Emergency Medical Transport, and the intergovernment transfer that we've arranged, upwards of well over $10 million in the last number of years collectively. Really a great shout out for great work. We're going to be doing, actually, there's a luncheon for Fred next week that'll be discussed through the board clerk. I think we talked about that already. And also, we'll be honoring Chief Clough next week, but we won't meet again as a board between now and then. So I just wanted to publicly acknowledge Chief Clough and his tremendous efforts for this agency as he moves into retirement. And we'll be seeing him again.
Thank you, Chief.
And last, and I'm putting somebody else on the spot here from the spot, I'm sorry. Amanda, can I have you join me up here? You knew I was going to do that, I'm sorry. I would like to introduce tonight, Amanda Thomas is our new CFO. She comes to us after 9 spectacular years of the County of Sacramento and the airports as the Deputy Director of Administration and Finance. We had a tremendously competitive process that was a nationwide search. We had literally tens of highly qualified candidates that anybody would have been very, very comfortable with, synthesized those down into a very small group, and Amanda has come up on top, and I can tell you that is exactly the person that can lead us into the next century or decade in the finance world as we move forward with Metro Fire. And so I just wanted to recognize her, and she is born and raised in Carmichael, California, so she's a local prodigy as well. So welcome, Amanda, and you will be seeing a lot more with Amanda.
Welcome.
Thank you. Do you want to take a picture too? Yeah, you want to take a come in and go in picture? Sure.
Before and after.
Okay, I'll whip through the rest of these. Basically, we all got back last night from Cap to Cap. 3 board of directors, Directors Kelly, Wood, and Jones, and along with myself and Larry Davis, Rusty Dupre, Chief Lozano, and Chief Shannon. Had a very good opportunity, went back, and in my opinion, was extremely valuable. We networked at numerous different levels, had direct face-to-face communication with Congresswoman Matsui, Congressman Ami Bera, science and technology, FEMA, on all the different issues that we're dealing with, to include the simulator across the way. Great interest in helping us continue that venue through the science and technology. And also, I'd like to say that we had a regional discussion with a lot of stakeholders, including Senate Pro Tem Darrell Steinberg, related to mental health issues and how they integrate into our public safety and hospital systems, and the interest that we all have about fixing that. And our own Chief Johnson has been integral in that. And I can tell you, everybody I talked to back there from Sacramento, from the mental health community, gave us great accolades for the work that Chief Johnson and Captain Perriman have been doing in that venue, so thank you to them. So moving on, that was Cap to Cap. We had a great Citrus Heights 2x2 meeting that we attended on the 16th. Had a good dialogue, and we actually had a large contingent from Citrus Heights at Cap to Cap as well, and had further dialogue there. I attended the swearing-in ceremony for Fire Chief John Heilman in West Sac. He was a longtime West Sac, went all the way through the ranks to chief officer in that organization, and then went to Davis, and then he came back as the fire chief. And our own Chief Martinez was retiring after his 40th year in the fire service, so that was a great celebration. This morning, I was on KFBK, if anybody saw my face for radio on that. I will be every 3 weeks. I think the sheriff, and then the police chief, and then myself, and we rotate, and we talked about different issues in the region. We have the next town hall meeting on May 6th, and it will be at Station 65 on a B-shift day at 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Of course, the senior PGA tournament is still an active process of being planned, and that is on June 22nd to the 28th. And I'll just touch on 50 countries and $20 million of expected local revenue coming into the community for that. Fire Camp is on the 7th through the 10th of July, and I know the Board of Directors got some information on that. I'd like to congratulate on the 25th, which I guess will be Saturday. Captain Brian Gonzalez will be on the EMS 24 on the A shift, overseeing the single role program. And we are still recruiting for the Thames paramedic position. That'll be filing date on May 1st at 4 p.m. And a community risk specialist filing date is the 8th of May at 4 p.m. And that's for both internal and external candidates. And yesterday, our outstanding PIO did another opportunity to do sidewalk CPR with the American Heart Association down at the state capitol. And I believe on Saturday, this Saturday, they're doing it again at Sunrise Mall. So that concludes my report, if you have any questions.
Questions for the chief? Okay, thank you. Chief Taylor.
Good evening, Mr. President, Board of Directors, Chief Wells, Darren Taylor, Deputy Chief of Operations, here tonight to give you your operations report. Since our last board meeting on April 9th, Metro Fires had 3,676 total calls. We've had 14 working structure fires, and as the wildlands start to dry out, we're up to 13 wildland fires, so that we're starting to equal up our structure fires. Our staff has logged 4,710 hours. Through the PIO, through Captain Item, our viewership since over the month of March was actually 217,710, which is a cost valuation of about $11,500. Chief Savage, who's in charge of our training and health and fitness and safety, reported out today that in light of our conversation a little bit ago on the Master Mutual Aid and resending our folks out of the county, part of that is to be eligible to go out of county from our organization, they have to pass what's called a PAC test. So during this week, 125 of our personnel took the PAC test, and what they do is they wear a 45-pound pack, and they have to walk for 3 miles, and they have to make that within 45 minutes. And for the positive of the organization, that was conducted at the Zivindale training site, so it's being used for all kinds of different things. Chief Wells stated that on Saturday, April 25th at Sunrise Mall, we're doing the sidewalk CPR, and what Michelle wanted, or Cap might have wanted all of you to know, in the first year, Metro Fire taught over 1,200 community members on how to save a life, and this year she's looking to top that number. So if there's no other questions?
Questions? Go ahead, Director.
Excuse me, Chief, what time on Saturday?
11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Thank you.
And if I could, please,
Go ahead.
did you say a 145-pound pack?
I might have 45-pound pack.
45-pound pack, okay.
Yes, it was.
It's quite a hike.
Other questions for the ops chief? Thank you, Chief Taylor.
And if
Appreciate
nothing
it.
else, like always, I'd like to say I'm very proud of the men and women for everything they do out there every day in serving of the oath that they took. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Council Lawver, I think you'll wait until after the closed session. Thank you, sir. Moving on to local firefighters 522, sir.
Directors. Vice President Bailey couldn't be here. He's doing baby and kid stuff. So you got me, Captain Sean Condit, one of the directors on the E-Board with the local. We don't have a whole lot to report out on tonight, but I want you to keep something on your radar. Firefighters Burn Institute is getting ready to throw their one of their big fundraisers. It's a tropical affair. It's an event coming up on June 27th. It's to benefit the Shriners Hospital and the Burn Center with local 522 support. Tickets are going to be about $50 or so, and we would encourage everybody to come to that and invite your friends and the public and anybody that you think might want to support the Shriners and the Burn Institute. Just letting everybody know, it looks like an arrest was made today in the fire that critically injured Captain Pete Dern in Fresno. So we're just gonna all sit back and wait and see what happens with that. But they did arrest a female in that case today, from what I understand. And that's about all we have to report out,
Okay.
unless you have any questions for the
Any
local.
questions for Captain? Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
One quick
Oh,
question.
go ahead.
I apologize. Where was the tropical affair going to be held this year?
It's going to be downtown. I'm not
UC
sure.
Davis again?
Yeah.
At UC
And there's going to be
Davis.
more information to come.
Okay.
It's not till June 27th, and you'll all be formally invited. I just keep it on everybody's radar. It's a great event, and it's an excellent fundraiser for the Burn Center and Shriners. So
Thank you,
something
sir.
we can all support. Anything else? Thank you, directors.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Moving on to committee and delegate reports. I have no report from the executive committee. Chief Holbrook on the comm center.
So the comm center met last week. We discussed a workshop on CAD financing, and we had a meeting with the Joint Defense Council for pending litigation, anticipated pending litigation. No action was taken on either item. Our next meeting is April the 28th, next week, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Director Kelly on the fire rescue training JPA.
The Fire Rescue Training JPA has not met since I last reported out. We were scheduled to meet today. That meeting was postponed.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. Director Monk?
Finance Committee, the next meeting for us is Thursday, May 14th at 5 PM. We haven't had one since the last meeting.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Director Scheidegger on the policy committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm thrilled to announce that the Policy Committee met this afternoon. Directors Gould and Monk participated in that, and we had an excellent presentation from our HR lead, Melissa Maddox, and she advised us of some policy enhancements concerning leave of absence policy and light duty policy. Our next meeting will be determined later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it. We'll now conclude with board member questions and comments, and then, folks, we beg you to go home after that. Please, go away. Go see your families. So with that, we'll start with Director Monk.
I want to say welcome to Miss Amanda Thomas was our CFO. We look forward to working with her on the Finance Committee and with the full board. It's a big job. Welcome. And Fred, going to miss you. Fred Bino retiring after all these years and working with him on fire buff issues, on metro issues, and anything I needed wheels to get around on. We appreciated your continual support, and we are going to miss you. I don't know that we'll be able to find somebody to replace you, but they'll have years to work on that. And Scott Clough, I don't know if there's enough that we can say about what Scott did in helping us find the money for the GEMT and do all the work he did with the EMS division on saving our bacon over the years. He did a lot of work with his team, and we're going to miss him. That's it for now.
Thank you very much, Director Rosali.
I'd just like to take a moment to address the board members and tell you you'll find a reference to the Sac Metro Public Safety Foundation's program that's being called 512-3. This will be coming to all of the Metro Fire employees shortly. However, it fundamentally is a means to do the automatic payroll deductions to support programs like Fire Camp and the acquisition of further Lucas devices, which we're in the process of doing now. This would allow you to make a commitment to donate $5 a month, 12 months a year, for a period of 3 years. We would not impede you from donating more. However, we would really appreciate it if you would consider this. It's a very worthy project. So with that, thank you very much, and you'll be hearing more about it.
Thank you very much, Director. Director Jones?
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, Director Monk, for acknowledging Scott Clough and Fred Bino. Congratulations on, and thank you to both of those gentlemen for all the sustained hard work they've done literally over the decades. Thank you very much. And as well, welcome Amanda Thomas, new CFO Thomas. Looking forward to working with you. And I would like to also thank the Sacramento Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce for leading their 45th, or our 45th, cap-to-cap trip back to Washington, D.C. Over 300 representatives, electeds, agencies, staff, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, participants as large as Sutter Health, Kaiser, SMUD, helping to blend our region and establish networking and support joint ventures so that this region can continue to move ahead. And I'm very, very proud that Metro is a part of this organization moving our community forward. I just can't tell you how proud I am of our fire district and the leadership that we had with the Metro Chamber. Thank you all.
Thank you, Director Jones. Director Kelly?
Yes, I would like to welcome our new Chief Financial Officer. I would like to tell Fred to have a wonderful time in your retirement. Walked into that garage many, many years ago for the first time, and it was very apparent that the place ran extremely smoothly. And I never found a reason to come back and look around because it was amazing to me. I watched your budget get cut severely when the economy tanked, and it was always something that I saw in the budget. I said, Fred is still doing an amazing job over there with less resources than he used to do an amazing job with. So it's not always easy, but you met the challenge. Thank you for your service. Would like to say something wonderful about Scott Clough, but I could probably be here for a long time. Scott Clough is, well, just like you, Fred, and just like the other people that work for this district, they are high-performing individuals. And that was front and center this weekend earlier this week while I attended the cap-to-cap trip as well. I've been to the cap-to-cap trip many times with another organization, and I've been a couple of times with this organization, and to be able to sit face-to-face with federal officials and convey to them what we have done what we've done with their assistance in some cases, and what we've done and intend to do if they're able to assist us any further. Sitting there face-to-face with them is very nice. I don't see Larry Davis tonight, but he deserves a night off, because I'll tell you what, the guy has all the answers, and he was extremely impressive in the meetings that I attended with him. I think that it's important for this district to continue to be able to meet those federal officials, those people from FEMA, from Homeland Security, from Federal Transportation. I think that it is something that it's important to be able to acknowledge them for their assistance and let them know that we are moving forward and we are building something very big here and we are doing big things. And again, this high-performing team, everyone from, in this room and in every firehouse that represents or that serves the community. And then this donation is supposed to be a voluntary thing, and I'd like to ask Mr. Orzala to quit calling me and badgering me to donate money. It's a voluntary thing.
As soon as you make the donation, I'll quit calling.
Director Kelly, is that it?
Thank you.
Okay, Director Wood?
Like it's been said before, Fred, Chief Clough, best to both you guys in your retirement going forward. Welcome, Amanda. You're gonna have a lot of fun with the policy committee. We'll get right into it next month. So, or policy and finance.
She's not coming.
Not policy.
She's going to go to budget.
The finance and audit committee. My apologies. Looking forward to working with you on that one. Two quick things about Cap to Cap. I was fortunate enough, and I appreciate the opportunity to have gone. We sat in a meeting with several individuals from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security Science and Technology Division, and they're individuals that Larry's worked closely with to get all the equipment in the simulator center. And as Larry was going through his presentation, showing them what they had, their eyes just got wider and wider and wider. And one of the heads there started talking about additional technology that we don't currently have that he wanted to start offering and figure out how Larry can work that into our system. So it's just another example of how important that is. And I've said this to a few people yesterday, but Chief, I want to make sure he gets publicly recognized. We went to, Chief Lozano, Chief Shannon, and I went to the House of Representatives Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, Subcommittee on Railroads, Pipelines, and Hazardous Materials. It's a long name, but it was a very important issue to talk about the rail, crude by rail issues that are coming up right now for our region. There were two other items on the agenda that were being talked about, and our issue on the crude by rail came last. And Chief Lozano took that, and the four individuals, the four staffers that were there were, during the prior presentations, arms folded, closed quite a bit. And as Chief Lozano made his presentation and talked, it warmed these guys up. They became engaged, they had questions, and Lozano was just the consummate professional and almost as great a presenter as Larry is. So I just want to make sure that Chief Lozano gets recognized for that. So, thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Wood. Director Scheidegger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Briefly, hello, Amanda. Goodbye, Fred. Thank you, Fred, for your service, and to both of you, a wonderful future with Amanda with Metro, Fred, out on the horizon. I also wanted to just make sure that everybody was aware, in the consent agenda, there was a MOU signed signifying the importance of OPEB. I think that's a high mark, and I appreciate 522's input to that, and I think it's a good sign for this department. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Scheidegger. A couple of items. I want to encourage my colleagues to complete their survey on our strategic planning meetings. We are trying to gather all of you up so that we can continue with our annual strategic planning elements. So please look at the emails that have been sent to you repeatedly from our good clerk and fill those out and send them back to her. A lot has been said about Mr. Bino and Chief Clough this evening. I want to take a different tack and just thank their families. think oftentimes we thank the men and women who do the work, and sometimes we fail to recognize the commitment that their families make so that they can be here at these ridiculous hours sometimes for weeks on end, and then they do this fire mechanic thing or they go on these strike teams. And I don't know that we really thank the families for the sacrifice that they make. So, Madam, to you, thank you very much for sacrificing your loved one to this organization, and you can have them back now. and just thank you to all of those. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to close this meeting and go into closed session, and we expect to come back and there to be only a couple of people here sitting right there. The rest of you need not be here. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.